Jeff Slauson here from 19 News Now at the 19 News Digital Desk. There is a pretty insane-looking fire that is currently taking place near Philadelphia. Now, normally when there's just a fire in a certain location, we wouldn't draw that much attention to it, but there is a pretty insane situation that is around this. 2 officers were shot near this. Then, moments later, we don't know exactly the duration after that, the home was set on fire where the call was to. We have 2 different shots of this showing you both of them on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. For those that have watched through a fire coverage with myself or with Dan DeRose, we like to kind of point out some things that you are going to look at here. Look at the intensity of that fire. Now, smoke is typically a good or an okay thing, particularly that darker smoke, because then that at least means the flames are not as active. Look at the active flames that you were seeing right there. So I'm going to walk you through what we know as of right now, because to be honest, we aren't totally familiar with a lot of this. There's still a lot of news still getting confirmed, still a lot of things still yet to be determined here. But this is in East Lansdowne. This is Delaware County near Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 2 police officers were shot during an active shooter situation in that town earlier today. This happening at about 3:45. That's when police were called to the scene at a home along Lewis Avenue. This is in, again, in East Lansdowne, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, okay? Then, moments later, we don't know how far away from that, multiple reports of shots fired in the area. Then, flames were seen coming from the home that you are looking at right now. How was the fire started? We do not know. However, we just know that shortly after that, that is when the flames started to pour out of that home. We do not know the condition of the officers at this time. We also know that following the active shooter situation, and basically leading into what you are seeing right now, which is the flames shooting from that home, SWAT was called to the area, and at least 3 different SWAT trucks are on the scene currently. So we have multiple situations happening in this town and on this street here. We have 3 different SWAT trucks that were called. We have reports of shots being fired, and we have flames, and very intense ones at that, shooting out of the roof, or what was the roof of that home. I'm going to pull this one up a little bit larger here for you to show you that it is not just the top there. So you're seeing the bottom portion. You see right there where the tree is. That tree looks like is almost falling into the home. There are flames coming from the front porch or the back porch area. Seems like the front porch spot of that. Then you see on the right-hand side the fire coming from, again, what used to be the roof. I'm going to change the view right now. Hold on one second so you can see that right there. Okay, this is a perfect view of the fact that the roof has caved in. We do not know who potentially was in or out of the home. We do not know if officers were in or out of the home at the time. Okay, so we do at least know now that the officers that were involved with this are in stable condition. Again, we haven't known specifically what happened with the shooting. We do not know specifically with who potentially shot first, why they were at this home. All of these things we are not totally sure about. What we have confirmed now is that officers are in stable condition. And in addition to that, I'm going to pull this up on a map, or I'm going to work to pull this up on a map, but this happened near a school. So you have active shooter situation. That's the reason for the calls. You have a fire starting at a home. And then ultimately, you have this near a school. So I'm going to pull up really quickly on a map. I'm going to see if we can actually hear anything. We have, again, 2 shots there, one on the left, one on the right. I'm going to pull up any sound to see if there's a chopper reporter that's working on this that potentially could give us some more. So I'm just trying to find a look at this from the air. Obviously not familiar totally with the area that this is taking place. This is Lewis Avenue in East Lansdowne, so let me see if I can find that really quickly. Okay, so I think I found it on a map here. I'm just trying to find the location of that school that is, seeing how close it actually is to it. All right, but nonetheless, I'll be able, oh, yep, okay, I see where the school is, okay. So, this is a map really quickly. I just want to show you where that dot is. That's where the home is. If you look up right here, that's where the school is. So 3 blocks away, 4 blocks away, the location of the school where this fire and, again, active shooter situation is taking place. So you're seeing on the bottom left-hand side, on the left screen, sorry, part of your screen right there, the bottom left-hand portion of that building, that type of smoke shows fire repression is currently working, but very clearly, the flames are insanely active right now. You can see the speed that they are shooting out of the top of the home. Again, that is on the left-hand side. And you can see that the work that the crews are currently trying to put in to put this thing out. But this is going to take some time. If not, the building will be a loss following this because of just the strength of them. You're seeing that they are shooting on the left-hand side there. The fire hose going through that first story window right there. Now, a lot of times they want to open up larger holes to be able to attack the fire from different areas. But what you're seeing there is the bottom floor starting to somewhat burn out or at least be stamped out by fire crews there. But look at the state of that roof. Okay, some other things to consider, which this one shows a really good way to look at that. This home has a chimney. You can see that chimney up there, zooming in exactly as I'm talking. It's almost as if they're listening there. Oh, and then look in the bottom left there. Okay, so that looks like SWAT or some sort of police officers in the bottom left. I wish they would show that a little bit more. On the bottom left-hand portion of the screen, you can see them walking in and out of that side home. Oh, and that's that home. Okay, so yeah, just being pointed out, that second home caught on fire. Yeah, that tree that we were talking about earlier that may have fallen could have fallen into that. And then also look at the state of that chimney right there. That's going to be a problem as well. So the home next door has caught on fire. This fire has now spread. A lot of times in these situations, the main concern is to make sure that nobody is in the home. Then the concern immediately following that is making sure that the fire does not spread. It seems that the crews were not able to stop that, which a lot of times is just not their fault. But you can see the fire is now spread to the home that is right next to that, this fire. See all the crews that are also getting in the way there. Yeah, so look at the bottom left-hand portion of your screen. Police officers or some sort of officers standing at the back porch area where you would walk down to leave to potentially go to the parking area. There's officers all over that spot. But look at this. Yeah, that is just eating away at this home. Then look to the right-hand side as well. It looks like something on the ground there has been caught on fire, whether that's a fence or some sort of debris from the home itself. I'm going to keep showing you multiple angles as we continue to learn more from this massive fire taking place near Philadelphia. This is in Lansdowne, that's Delaware County. There was an active shooter situation called to this area. Shortly following that, we heard that there were shots fired. Officers involved in that are in stable condition. And then following that, the home caught on fire. So a very suspicious, very strange situation currently unfolding just near Philadelphia. There's a school about 3 blocks away from this area. I'm trying to pull my map just to see how close. Yeah, so this is west of Philadelphia. It seems to be about 20 minutes west of the heart of Philadelphia, and it's just over. There's it seems like a riverbank or some sort of ravine, or it's a creek that cuts off West Philadelphia from the suburb of where this is. But this is just a few miles from Philadelphia, from the heart of Philadelphia. Look at that. Yeah, that's an inferno that is currently developed. Now, for those that have been tuning in and watching along with us as we've been talking our way through this and breaking this down, that bottom portion of your screen right there, where you can see where the porch used to be and those flames, it seemed that officers had done a fairly decent job to get that down, and that has since come back clearly because look at the fire in there. Yeah, this home's going to be gutted. Oh, okay. So the fire's now getting to power lines that are right in front of there. You're seeing some sparking right there, so that potentially could cause more of an electrical fire. On the left-hand side, also through some smoke, you can see what seems to be a car that is caught on fire as well. But keep an eye out for that front portion right there as the sparking continues. This could cause a massive issue for the folks that live around here because that seems to be some sort of a power or communications line that is now potentially catching on fire. Going to watch out for that. I'm going to bring you now back out to the double box where we show you both shots that we have, again, from crews from our sister stations in Philadelphia and in the Philly area. I want to keep watching for that on the left-hand side there, which comes to us courtesy of WPEI. Yeah, you can see the sparking continuing there. That is a big problem. In this situation, we had talked about this, how you want to prevent the spread of the fire. We know now that it is, so if you're looking at the right-hand side of the camera there, you want to prevent the spread, right? So you want to prevent that fire from moving to the second home. We know that it has done that. It seems like they kind of have that somewhat under control, but now it's basically a controlled burn because this home is gone up. I mean, you wonder the cause. We do not know yet, but this home has gone up very fast, it seems, and very aggressively. And despite the best efforts of the fire department, it does not seem like there's much they can do. So if this home's going to go down, you want it to go down in a safe-ish manner. You want this to be able to avoid hurting anybody when this thing does come down, because I've covered a lot of fires throughout my time, and this looks like one that is going to be very difficult to stop, despite the best efforts. So that's why they try and prevent the spread. If you watch the home on the right-hand side there, that's the one that had caught on fire. The color of the smoke in this one is really important here. So look at the black smoke on the left-hand side. Okay, that shows the active burning situation. The white smoke is the one that has started to be damped out or stamped out, at least partially due to the water. So you want to see that. You can tell very clearly by this of how dark that smoke is that is happening from the active fire scene. We spoke earlier, for those that are just joining us, about what exactly happened here, how there was an active shooter situation that ultimately had this fire associated with it. Officers are in stable condition from this. We can now confirm that a child was shot. We do not know how old. We do not know their condition. This is a breaking news situation, so things come in very quickly, very rapidly. Confirmations on certain things are very difficult to get, but we only go with confirmed information. In particular, confirmed information that we know multiple sources have agreed to. We know that it comes from a certified source. And that has told us that a child has been shot in this. Again, do not know the age, do not know the condition, but do know now that the officers are in stable condition, but a child was shot. I'm going to pull this up here while we wait for the other camera to reorient itself. Look at this. It continues, and you can see it only seems like 1 or 2 hoses are working this right now. But again, the smoke is a very good indicator as to whether or not how active it is. Look at these. So they're getting another hose going. It seems in the bottom right-hand side. And then you can see there are cops or SWAT maybe near the front porch of that home that just kind of leaped on fire. So you can see they have the one hose going there. I think they have another one somewhere. Oh, this is a good view. So this is the back side there. I just had to watch out for that chimney. Those can typically go down on their own if something starts to collapse here, and that back wall very clearly is collapsing, or at least burned. You can see, oh yeah, look at that. Okay, so you just saw one of a large pyre that was inside of the building, seeing some issues. So you can see the hose right there that seems to be coming from the adjacent home. There's a potential they actually are in that home and shooting the flames in through that hole that they made, whether that's a window or a door, or they just made the hole itself. But it's starting to appear as though it's starting to come down straight on, basically. This home is still really, really, really going. I mean, you rarely see something this active for this long. So bring you back out wide to a double shot here, showing you both of the views that we have, again, of this fire that is currently ongoing near Philadelphia. This is a few miles west of Philadelphia, and West Philadelphia specifically. It's only a few miles outside of that. We do know that there's a school a few blocks away. We do know that 2 officers were shot in East Lansdowne. That is where this is taking place during an active shooter situation. The initial reason for the call, we do not know. What we do know is that the officers that were called there were involved in some sort of an active shooter situation. The officers are stable. A child was shot in that. There's no age or condition given on that for the child. Then, sometime after that active shooter situation took place, the fire started. And you can see it's still very active. This happening an hour ago. 3:45 was when the call started to come around there. with reports of multiple shots fired. Following that, multiple different SWAT teams were called and have been staying and canvassing outside of the area. So right now we're not necessarily sure what is going to happen as far as that home, what is going to happen as far as the people that were involved in this active shooter situation. We continue to try and get more information for you, and of course as soon as I know, we'll let you know as well. All right, we're going to show you another view here. This shows you the techniques that are being used by the fire department on this. What they're trying to do here is just attack any source of it, but you need big spaces to do it. So sometimes you'll see the crews opening up massive holes in the sides and the fronts. Sometimes you'll see crews just really trying to open up space. Because at that point, what you're trying to do is not attack the integrity of the building, but trying to get it out fast. Because you don't want a situation like what we saw, which is that home on the right-hand side catching fire. You can see the roof is somewhat smoking on the home on the right-hand side, as well as part of the roof. See, they're just changing it up there. We had seen just a little bit ago the power lines or communication lines that are directly in front of the building, what you're looking at right there. So it seems that the officers are moving on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. We're going to keep an eye on that. Okay, so now we're seeing what seems to be some sort of a SWAT truck, at least armored vehicle, backing into the area. You're seeing officers surrounding that. That's another SWAT truck to the right-hand side there. Now, oftentimes we're not going to show exactly what's happening because you don't want to tip anybody off. So we will see what the operators of the helicopter are doing. You can see this is another clear shot here of the top left-hand side. Armored officers making their way around. What we've been noticing too is these officers have been protecting the fire crews that have been working. So those firefighters in the bottom left-hand and bottom right-hand side have basically had an escort with them as they've been pointing the hoses at the home. Let's see if this one, yeah, so this gives a better view. So look at the top left-hand side of your screen there. You can see there's at least 4 or 5 officers surrounding one hose, basically giving them protection as they try to work this fire. That shows that there is clearly some sort of potential danger that is still available to these people, and particularly those that are armed, them being firefighters. Seeing some more action on the bottom left-hand side of the screen there. Yeah, you can see some guy with a shield there. Looks like a riot shield. All right, then I'm backing up that SWAT truck on the bottom right-hand side. We'll see what that leads to. I'm going to try a different angle really quickly. Yep, so you can see it there. Again, bottom right-hand side portion of your screen. Yeah, so just by the movements and how they're walking and everything. I mean, look at that. Okay, so you see these officers, they're still pointing guns at the front door and holding their shields up to the front door. So clearly there is something that is still active around this home that they're concerned about. For those that have been watching this for the duration of the stream here, hard time to kind of comprehend exactly where they're looking for that. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, just gonna pull this up really quickly. Yeah, while they go to show the static shot there. You're seeing on the middle of your screen there. So you see Philly, you see Melbourne. Okay, then Upper Darby, that area, that is smoke from this showing up now on a radar. That creek that I was telling you about earlier, that's that creek right there. You can see, yeah, the smoke is now showing up on a radar. That is how significant this fire is, because it is now blocking some of the radar sensors and making the radar think that that is a cloud. Yeah, it's pretty significant here. We're going to go back out now to the shots that we have from the active scene. that's when you have a fire that's that intense that it shows up on a radar, that shows just how strong these flames have been. All right, so there's some cars on the left-hand side of where this flaming home has been. You can see one of them actually is still on fire. Yeah, that's right. That is the one that was on fire there. That roof caved in before we started this digital stream here. You should see it better there. The actual home itself has stayed upright, which is good, but it does not seem like it is in any shape to be able to withstand any more battering from both the flames or the hoses, as we show you multiple angles of this. Oh, this is a good shot here. So this shows you the inside of the home there, and then look at where the fire is kind of hanging on. Yeah, this thing is in trouble here, obviously. So what we still don't know is why cops were initially called to the scene. We do not know how many officers were involved. We do not know the age or the condition of the child that was shot in this. And we also do not know very clearly how this fire started. That is something that can take time. Oftentimes we'll not learn the cause of a fire for really a long period of time. We've also seen the electrical wires around this start to spark. Have not seen that in a little bit of time there. Wonder if they maybe kind of cleared out that spot as we see another fire crew arriving on scene. But what I want you to notice here about this shot there, you can very clearly figure out who is a firefighter in this, but look at all of the people that are wearing black suits. Those are all officers. You typically will see police officers at a fire. You won't see them in this amount. So this shows that there's clearly something that is going on that is causing a concern not only for the community but for the fire crews themselves. So another engine has just arrived to try and help this. Now, for those that have been on with us since the beginning of this, the flames that were shooting out of the roof were way out of hand at some point, and to the point where, as I showed earlier, the smoke was showing up on a Doppler. So this is, again, you can see Philadelphia there. If you look to the left of that, that's Upper Darby, that is Fulcroft. Those two areas, that zone that you're seeing right there, that's where the smoke was showing up basically as a cloud on the Doppler. That's how significant and how heavy that was. Obviously heavy smoke still coming from this area. Let's show you this here. Okay, so look where all the officers are gathering in front of there. Then look at the bottom, or the middle portion on the right-hand side. You split it into three quadrants, essentially. On the far right quadrant, the center part of that, you can see that there's police officers helping with the hoses. This is not what you would typically see. As I've said, I've covered dozens, if not hundreds, essentially, of fires during my career. You would very rarely see police officers helping the fire department move hoses or provide some sort of cover for them, unless there was a concern for their safety, and that's what it seems like. It does seem this fire is slowly, I want to be very clear with that, slowly coming under control here. But still, yeah, still seeing a very active scene there. Now they zoom in a bit on the top left-hand portion there. So I was hoping to see potentially a reporter pop up so we could get an update from that. I'm trying to see if that's one there. Nope, that's one of ours. Okay, so now that second fire engine is starting to get going here. They're getting the lift. You wonder if the reason why this wasn't brought in earlier, if a lift wasn't brought in earlier, is because of the potential for one of the officers or one of the firemen or firewomen, firefighters, to get shot. Because for those that, okay, we'll watch the bottom right-hand portion, you're now seeing them bring ladders up. This is the most action we've seen directly to this area since we started. So you gotta wonder what ultimately led to that. Because about 10 minutes ago, we were seeing the fire crews that were trying to help were legitimately being covered by officers with guns, which again is a very rare situation and something we do not typically see. All right, you're seeing them start to put that ladder up there. whether that's to help with the slight spread that we saw to that home on the right-hand side, or to help give them a better angle for the home on the left-hand side, because it's not looking like you're going to be able to lean a ladder on that home without causing even further damage. We have multiple looks at this, multiple angles at this, 2 different choppers coming from our sister stations based in the Philadelphia area. Again, this is really close. This is mere minutes from downtown Cleveland, or downtown Cleveland, excuse me, downtown Philadelphia. Yep, okay, so we're seeing a hose used there. That's a pretty interesting piece of technology. There's not a person on that. That is just a robotic hose, it seems. Yeah, look at this. This home is cardboard at this point. Yeah, that's interesting. So, okay, and it does seem like that guy on the right-hand side, so you see where they put that ladder up? It does seem like they're going to be using the hose. Oh, is it for that home? Let's see. It is for that home. Okay, so what they're doing right there, he's starting to bash holes into the home on the right-hand side, no better way to say it. That's venting, so it's essentially allowing more air to get in, and then more time for or more places for the hose to get through and start to clear some of the areas. We'll show you back at the double shot here. All right, let's put in 4 there. All right, so this is a shot from the ground I want to show you here. That just shows you exactly what this looks like as far as the hoses itself. I'm hoping they'll be able to grab an interview with somebody at some point. Oh, they just switched that over, so we will bring this back up. But this is, I mean, we have seen some incredible progress since we started our digital stream here. I want to recap what we know so far. Jeff Slauson here with 19 News Now at the 19 News Digital Desk. A massive fire near Philadelphia. This happening in East Lansdowne, Pennsylvania. This is about 20 minutes from Philadelphia itself, and just across basically a creek from West Philadelphia. What we know, at 3:45, there were calls with multiple shots fired at the scene of Lewis Avenue. Following the shots that were fired, a fire started at this home. 2 officers shot, at least one child also shot, no age or condition on the child. We do not know why the call was made to this home to begin with. We do not know why they were arriving there. We also do not know potentially why shots rang out, or even more important, why this fire started. And that is something that typically takes a long period of time. I will tell you from my time reporting on the ground of many, many different fires, a fire like this that is going this hard and this fast, and that's a tough one to explain. This really seems to have gone up. But now, starting to see some progress. For those that have been tuning in here, I like to watch out for the smoke and the color of the smoke specifically. If you see a dark black smoke, that is a far more active fire with active flames. When you see one that is more of a white smoke, which we're seeing now, that shows more of the fire suppression, which is a good thing. Keeping an eye on that 3rd shot that I had shown earlier, and it seems that some sort of an officer is starting to walk toward the media staging area. Of course, if we get an update, we'll bring that to you as soon as possible. Trying to see if that's gonna update, but in the meantime, I'll show you back again to this live look at both of the shots there. Trying to see if our affiliate in Philadelphia has updated anything. Okay, so yeah, we have some more updates on this. So the fire was blowing 5 to 10 miles per hour on the south-southeast direction. As we had mentioned, that the speed in which the smoke was getting picked up showed up on a radar. So police believe that the shooter is inside. Okay, so this is coming courtesy of our affiliate, CBS Philadelphia. This was updated about 20 minutes ago. Police believed that the shooter, or still believe potentially, that the shooter was inside the burning home and called it a barricade situation. That is scary. According to the Delaware County District Attorney's Office, one officer works with Lansdowne Police and the other works for East Lansdowne Police. Both officers are in stable condition at Penn Presbyterian Medical Center, according to the District Attorney's Office. Law enforcement agencies have flooded the area. We know of at least 3 SWAT trucks that are currently on scene. We're still waiting. I want to see if we can get potentially one more shot here from a reporter on the ground there, because it seems like live reports are happening in and out of that area constantly. But as far as the active fire that we have seen, again, a good thing to look for is the smoke. Look at the smoke that's coming out of it now. And for those that were with us a couple of minutes ago when the fire was really going, that dark black smoke is the most active that we will see. We are seeing that white smoke. That shows that it is being suppressed, stamped out. The water hoses that they're using are working, and this fire is slowly starting to come under control. It did start to spread to the home on the right-hand side of our screen. That obviously didn't spread as much as potentially feared, but we have that view here. We have this view there, which shows the top portion where the roof has been absolutely taken off. That thing is now collapsed inside of the building. And then you have from the ground showing you that large plume of smoke that again has shown up on the Doppler, where you can actually see it. You know, from a meteorological standpoint, it's visible from the Doppler. But again, the shooting or the shots fired calls that came to this area involved officers and potentially a child, or at least one child. We know that the child was shot with no age or condition given. We know that both officers that were shot were taken to the hospital under stable condition. One officer with Lansdowne Police, another officer with East Lansdowne Police. They're at Penn Presbyterian Medical Center. 3 SWAT trucks on the scene. We now have seen a second engine called to the area, but nothing else. For those that are hopping on now and weren't with us a bit ago, I'm pulling up this shot here to show you the grand totality of it, but look at the fire crews that are just walking around here. We didn't see that for quite some time. In fact, if any fire crews were walking around, they were basically being guarded. So you saw them walking with armed officers. And now, knowing that there was a belief that it was a barricade situation and there was an armed individual inside, it's starting to make a lot of sense. You can see there the crews in the home next door working. You can see the top of the building there still smoldering, trying to work to clear that out. The most recent update, I want to read again here. Police believe that the shooter was inside the burning home. They called it a quote-unquote barricade situation, which is why we saw such a tense exchange between fire officials and police officials just trying to work on this whole thing. All right, showing you now a different view. That's fire crews there working on the now smoldering fire there. And then on the left-hand side, the fire that had spread to the adjacent home. All right, there might be a reporter story coming up here. I want to take this live. Let's just try and listen. All right, so I've pulled up the microphone for this reporter right here. So we're gonna hopefully hear her and hear her live report coming up. Oh, that's a great shot to show. Look at that. So that's where the home is. Look
Rick,
at the
a lot
smoke.
has changed in the past hour since we've been here. We're on the other side of Lewis from where John Paul is, it seems. And I want to show you my vantage point of this smoke that is constantly changing colors as firefighters are continuing to fight this. It's been a lot of developments over this past little over an hour since the first call came out. That first call, again, of course, police officers were called. East Lansdowne and Lansdowne police were called for reports of an 11-year-old child who was shot further down on Lewis Avenue. I'm told that as soon as they got to the scene here, that they were fired upon and 2 officers were shot and taken to Penn Presbyterian. Since that initial shooting happened, though, just after 3:50 p.m., again, I'm told there had been no other shots other than that, but that suspect did retreat into the house. So over the last hour or so, as firefighters were not, of course, pouring water on those flames at first, they were assessing the threat. We've seen police officers and first responders from pretty much every borough in town in Delaware County who have been here assisting in this fire. And just in the past couple minutes, they've really been able to start fighting this, I should say, as the smoke has drastically changed colors. The back of the house had collapsed at points. There were cars on fires, and it appears some other structures were beginning to put on fire as well. As this fire has increased in intensity, and we can see just that billowing smoke, we were pushed back for our own safety. And a lot of the neighbors in the area, as you can imagine, if you lived here, everyone was out of their houses trying to figure out what's going on. So a lot of this scene, too, has been police and first responders doing crowd control, making sure that everyone could be safe in this situation.
All right, so you heard the update there from the reporter on the ground. I'm going to wait to see if they ask another question of her. But things that we learned that we did not know is an 11-year-old was fired upon there, that officers were fired upon as soon as they got there. The suspect did retreat into the house, so the reports that there was potentially an active shooter situation taking place and that it was a barricade situation seems to be accurate there.
Rick, a lot of those neighbors have been outside, but law enforcement have been trying to push them further and further back from the scene, of course, for their own safety. I do know that a couple people were trying to get out of the area that police were in. You know, they have different appointments throughout the day, stuff like that. But while they couldn't leave the scene, they could walk out of here, police trying to keep people as far back as possible.
Ed wants you to remain over here, so I'm just going to call him.
He wants us right here? Okay.
Outside the scene, please.
All right, so that seems to end that report.
My guy told me to come up, but he said he wants us back, so let me see if I missed a text.
So now it seems that they're getting moved back even further. Yeah, I can tell you as a reporter, these situations are pretty tense and pretty awful to deal with. We lost our shots there, our multiple shots of it, and we also seems to be moving that reporter there. So we're going to end our digital stream here. Of course, anything that's updated as a result of this, we will bring to you both on air and online. Again, a massive fire near Philadelphia as a result of a shots fired situation. We now know that an 11-year-old was fired upon or was shot during that. Officers, when they arrived on scene, were fired upon pretty early in this. So we're getting another shot there, actually. I think this is a different one. But yeah, so that's going to be it for our coverage here. Much more to come, both on air and online. Of course, 19 News, our 5 o'clock newscast just started about 9 minutes ago. So we'll see you on CBS for the next hour and a half.
19 News, now streaming on Samsung Smart TV. Search for channel 1035.